Billie Jean Queen. That's quite a fetching, what do you call that, a sweatband? It's very nice. Rounds out the look with the aviator glasses. Glad you could be here with us. And who's next? X-I. That's pronounced she. She tongue dong. Hear, hear. And last, but of course never least, Fabrice McQueef.
Here.
Indeed, dear. Bonsoir and welcome to This Be the Verse, Poetry for Adults, here in the sub basement of PS 75, the Emily Dickinson School. I say poetry for adults, and I stress that because there will be adult language and content. So if your girdle is strung a little too tightly for that, best be gone now. Okay. All in? Wonderful. Now, first things first. Cell phones off. No, dear, not cell phones down, cell phones off. And by off, I mean really off. Not just merely off, really quite sincerely off. Poetry, like all good art, helps us pay better attention to the world. And if you can't pay attention to the world and to people in it for more than 15 minutes at a stretch, without tapping on a glass screen like a deranged bird against a window pane, then you might just as well be dead. Now, you may stare at me for a few seconds longer while your cell phones all die to complete blankness and silence. Then I will permit no more staring. Looking, I will permit. Staring, no. As my favorite teacher, Miss Ferenzi, once said, it is impolite to stare, and a sign of bad breeding. You cannot make a social effort while staring. And making a social effort is what we here at This Be the Verse are all about. The premise for this course is that good poetry, real poetry, and in particular the act of memorizing poems, can improve your life in all manner of ways. The first and most important way in which it can improve your life is that memorizing poems can make you more attractive. More to the point, it can help get you laid. It's true. Don't be shocked. As we've determined earlier, we are all adults here, so it's time for us to slough off those silly affectations of prudery. We all have urges. They are normal and healthy. And really, what better way to impress a prospective partner than with a dazzling display of intelligence and savoir-faire? If you're able to whip out a poem off the top of your head while hobnobbing with the glitterati, chances are you'll be doing more than hobbing that knob by the end of the evening. Vraiment. But before we proceed any further, I must pardon myself. I have not yet introduced myself, even though I'm sure many of you already know who I am. That's right. Je m'appelle Toulouse-Lautrec. Surely, you know, you've heard of Tootight-Lautrec, the famous French chanteuse.
From Normal, Illinois.
Class, please excuse the occasional spontaneous ejaculation from my thespian friend Fabrice McQueef here, to whom I have graciously extended the offer to audit this class for free, and from whom I'm sure we'll hear no more eruptions, because one would hate to have yet another red mark on one's permanent record, would one? I thought not. But Fabrice and I are old, old, old friends. And what she says is true. I was reared in Normal, Illinois, but anyone who knows me well knows that I haven't been back to normal in ages. And while I was once a French chanteuse, world famous, no requests please, I no longer sing due to a recent swallowing incident that permanently altered my gag reflex. So I have come back here to the continent and returned to the world's oldest profession, teaching. And teach I shall. Poetry. Memorizing poems can make you more attractive and can help get you laid. Now, I can see that some of you doubt me, so I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, you're at a cocktail party one evening, and you see a certain someone who gives you that lovely, funny, fizzly, twinkly feeling, all from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes and then halfway back up again. And you realize that this is a person to whom you must speak. Here's what you do. First, pull yourself together, gather your courage, and by gather your courage, I mean you introduce yourself to the bartender. If you're old enough to drink, and if you're intelligent enough to drink responsibly. You introduce yourself to your brand new friend, Monsieur Bartender, and you ask for a drink. My particular favorite at the moment is a Starlight Martini. Vodka, a splash of black sambuca, and a thin twist of lemon rind on the rim. You have a few sips of courage, and you walk with subtlety and sophistication over to your objet d'amour, and you look deeply into her or his eyes, and you say, as an opening salvo, "This is just to say, I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me. They were delicious. So sweet and so cold." Now, if the gods of happy coincidence are smiling upon you that evening, your new little lovely one will take your hand and respond in kind with his own William Carlos Williams poem. He'll look deeply into your eyes and tell you how so much depends upon a red wheelbarrow, glazed with rainwater, beside the white chickens. And you'll know that this is a person who encounters the world, who sees the world from the same vantage as you. It could prove to be an extremely titillating evening. It could proceed to be an even more titillating night. It could be the beginning of a beautiful relationship that ends only in happily ever after. Or it could all fall to shit. It happens. Quel dommage. If it does happen to you, if you find yourself one night, late, in bed, awake, alone, your sheets encrusted with stale cookie crumbs and the grainy residue of a jumbo bag of barbecued potato chips that you've gobbled up earlier in an attempt to quell the roaring pit of despair in your belly. You may find yourself asking, why? Why am I so fucked up over this guy or this gal? Why am I so fucked up in general? Why is he or she or she or he so fucked up that they don't recognize the innate beauty and intelligence of moi? Why is every guy I meet so fucked up? Why is everyone so fucked up? Now, this is a good time to remind yourself that indeed we are all fucked up in our own peculiar ways. And it's an even better time to snap yourself out of your little funk and to recall the wise, wise words of Philip Larkin in the poem for which I've named this class, This Be the Verse, where he tells us, they fuck you up, your mom and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. They fill you with the faults they had and add some extra just for you. But they were fucked up in their turn by fools in old-style hats and coats who half the time were soppy stern and half at one another's throats. Man hands on misery to man. It deepens like a coastal shelf. Get out as early as you can and don't have any kids yourself. Well, there you have it. Your assignment for this week is to memorize your own poems and try this on your friends. Try making new friends. Let me know how it turns out. If you'd like the text of these particular poems, you can follow the links down below. Even better, you can go to your local library and have a nice little tete-a-tete with your librarian friend. And maybe you'll find more poems, whole books of them, that you can look through and find another poem to memorize. Best yet, you could follow the IndieBound link to look for your local bookstore, because we really must support our local bookstores with bricks and mortar, real stores with walls and books in them. We wouldn't want them to all disappear, would we? I think we can all agree that it's better to have a bookstore at the end of our block than a mega bank or a gun store. Also, this class will meet every week for the next 13 weeks. So in order to get full credit, you must subscribe to my channel. And by full credit, I mean my everlasting gratitude and my perpetual admiration of your peculiarly good taste. In parting, I'll just ask you to remember that the world is full of wonder. Pay attention. Until then, until next week. Moi. Simply moi. I am Tootight-Lautrec, and this be the verse.